today is the International Day for the Protection of Children, declared way back in 1925 during the World Conference for the Protection of Children in Geneva. And to be frank, I don't think we have done our children much justice since. The shocking stories of our children's experiences since time immemorial has been worrisome. But now in this day and age where baby dumping and child abuse are the order of the day, we really need some introspection because we are failing our children. In October last year, I broke the story of the abuse of children at the Namibia Children's Home, where black orphans and vulnerable children are housed. The home falls under the management of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, and I alerted the PS to the appalling conditions children were living in there. Just listen to this.
I was put in the custody of Namibian Children's Home in 2004 in June, right after my mom passed away. My experience growing up in the children's home, I would say it was nice. When I entered, I came to a place and it was a big house and there were a lot of kids I could play with, and Tannies would take us to swimming pools. You know, we were rewarded for good behavior. We would literally go on Sundays after eating 3 o'clock. A Tannie would take the kids to the swimming pool, swim, bring us back. We would go to church, and then it all changed. I was put in the custody of a certain house mother. Her way of disciplining is by abuse. There was a time, I don't know, there was a phase where the children started smoking. She took cigarettes and she told their child to eat those cigarettes. And if their child pukes, he's gonna eat his puke. And the child was eating those cigarettes because if he doesn't, he's gonna eat his puke. And if he doesn't do that, he's gonna be discharged. That's how we are threatened. If you do this, if you don't do this, you'll be discharged. It doesn't matter what it is, you'll be discharged. Before my dad passed away, there was a whole rumor going around about my dad. And it was fine, but she felt the need that she should sit with kids and tell them, no, his father did this and this. And by then I was really still small. I would just cry myself to sleep because what can I do? It's the truth, but she's supposed to be there to tell me it's not the end of the world or to comfort me, but she wasn't there. I don't know how to say it, that when someone just comes and they're always scolding you, they never listen to you, you end up losing your respect for that person, that you also just lash out. And that's where they start saying, no, this child is rude, this child is this. And I personally told our principal, please make me sit with the PS or the director or the minister, because our 2 social workers don't come here for us. They just come here to scold us and tell us we have bad manners and we don't listen. The social worker at head office knows what's happening at children's home, but like I said, she shows a blind eye. She gives a blind eye, and our complaints fall on deaf ears. They will come, they will listen, nothing happens. We are just being treated like little puppets. Yeah, we are orphans, we know that, but it doesn't mean we're not going to become anything in life. I want change. I know this is probably going to make them discharge me. Discharge me, but make a difference. Change Tannies there. Because I know that workshops aren't going to work for these Tannies. These Tannies go on workshops and they're going to say, yeah, you reported me, but I'm still here. It's the truth. I reported, but if there's no change, then the Namibian Children's Home should be shut down and restarted. Management should be dismissed. There are Tannies that should be dismissed and it should be restarted, because there is no love there. There is no passion. There are certain Tannies you can really see that, no, this Tannie tries, this Tannie sleeps with babies. But there are certain that just don't. They just feel that they are underpaid for that. They are underpaid to have free electricity. They are underpaid to have free water. They are underpaid to have free accommodation and still do nothing. That's how they are underpaid.
Jackie Moller was a house mother at the Namibia Children's Home and has since left the home after being forced to do so, since life became rather unbearable for her since she came forward to blow the whistle on the abuses children at the home endure.
I can honestly not say when things change for the worse or for the better, but things just drastically changed at that place. I personally don't feel emotionally, I'm very unstable. I'm very honest, and I think the risk that I'm taking to sit here today is to also make me realize that for how long will I live a lie? For how long will I try to come out or to advocate for the children, and other people are seeing that my advocacy for the children as a threat? For how long will I stand and see things happen at the place and I just turn a blind eye? For how long will I also cover up things at the place, but then you are told this is not your line, you must follow the line. There are times when you get frustrated and you don't want to follow the line. Working for the government is not difficult, but there is boundaries that you cannot step over. It's almost like if I say you do A, then you do A, and then you cannot do B.
Despite numerous attempts to get feedback from the Ministry of Gender, the Legal Assistance Centre and the Ombudsman's Office last year, all I got was we'll get back to you once our investigations are concluded. It's been 7 months, and the Ombudsman John Walters concluded his report in February this year, which he submitted to the Permanent Secretary.
Victims of racism and racial discrimination do not get justice through the criminal justice system, and I suggest an alternative form, like a tribunal, where I suggested where simple justice between man and man can takes place. You understand, and that is the only way I see that we can have justice. The other recommendations which it made was directed to the Employer Federation, and I can quote to you what I've said in that. The Employer Federation of Namibia and the National Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry are requested to disseminate the following recommendations to all their members. Employers should train senior and middle management to become aware of the many ways in which discrimination can manifest in the workplace. Cooperate with trade unions and other workers' representatives to develop procedures to deal with racial discrimination and other forms of discrimination, including sexual harassment. So that is my recommendation, and I was assured by the Employers Federation that they sent my recommendation to all their members. Whether the estate agents organization or as part of the employers, I am not so sure. I encourage employers when they employ young people or any people to train them in racism and racial discrimination. If they do not have the capacity, they must look for persons who can do it for them. And I have also suggested in my report that human rights education and tolerance education should start at a very tender age at school. If not, we will lose the battle against these phenomena.
I also asked him whether he looked into the allegations of high sexual activity amongst the children themselves and with staff members at the home, such as drivers, which were previously reported.
The investigation was done by staff members of my office. Unfortunately, the head of this division on children's rights and human rights and legal affairs or matters pertaining to legal issues is headed by the children's advocate in my office. That position is now for nearly 2 years vacant, and it's public knowledge that we are not allowed to fill vacancy. So in the absence of a children's advocate, I am also I'm also the children's advocate. My personal assistant, who is also a trained social worker, and with the other legal officers and social worker, investigated the matter or the alleged complaints against the Namibia Children Home. They provided me with a draft report, and I looked at it, made my changes, and And after I was satisfied that the report took all the matters as in consideration, and that it was a fair report reflecting the failings of the children's home in particularly and in general the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, I drafted the report with my recommendations and provided it in the beginning of this year, I believe so, to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare. I received an acknowledgement letter from her, and that she was, they are looking into my recommendation.
We're failing our kids. Cecilia Says is up next.
I just don't understand why do people treat kids very badly. You know, when you treat a child very bad, a child can run out of the house, a child will never be happy, a kid always feel very disappointed in life. It's like she feel like nobody loves her. She feel like this person threw me away. Kids need love from their parents. Kids need love by their teachers. Kids need love by everywhere. We need to learn them how love grows in people. That's the way the kids have to be treated. Not treating kids like you throw them away, you scream on them, you beat them. That's abuse.
27-year-old Helau Njaba lost his life this week and was allegedly accidentally shot twice in the head by the Home Affairs Commissioner for Refugees in Katutura last week. Newspaper reports stated that Likius Valombola was held in custody for only 4 hours following the shooting, which led to outrage on social media. Whilst Helau Njaba fought for his life in the ICU at Katutura State Hospital, those who loved him sought justice. Valombola was rearrested in Opuo and appeared in court, and Njaba's supporters showed up in numbers to vehemently oppose his bail.
We are still standing firm on our position that we oppose bail for the accused, and we understand of his circumstances that he needs also to support his family. But we as a family have concern that he will interfere with the case, so that is our basis of opposing his bail application.
Sadly, Helau Njaba did not survive his injuries, but his fate incited many to speak out against gun control and the lack of respect for the life of ordinary citizens.
Personally, about the ruling, I feel very disgraced, and the Constitution itself, it's disgracing us. Personally, I myself got a ticket a few weeks ago, and then they denied me bail because I was driving under the influence, but yet today my friend was shot. He was shot twice in the head. Imagine twice and you get bail after 3 days. A lot of people in our country are here being given 30 years of prison time just because of a cow. What does our country value a human life?
All I have to say about today's hearing is I'm very disappointed. Mr. Valombola got bail, and he's going to continue with his life until sometime in future, hopefully. Our courts decide based on evidence given by the prosecutors and stuff, whether he's going to give us justice. A lot of years probably, you know. We are very disappointed. This is not what we expected at all. We marched ever since the first day, and it seems to me personally that public interest plays a really small role in the whole process that we just went through.
I'm in much shock. It's a great loss. He was something to us. He was a great person in our society. Personally, where we live, he had a printing shop that supported a lot.
This prosecution, it's very weak. Understand? It's a strong case, but when we have somebody that is very recessive, that is representing us in a case like this, there is no way we're going to win. You know, because, for example, he doesn't even know he has no information about the family. He has not been to the scene himself. So I think with something like this, we are not really going to get the justice that needs to be served. Whether he did it intentionally or not, still justice needs to prevail because a life was lost. And this is why we feel very bad. You know, in a residential area, somebody pulled out a gun and shot our brother.
We as the family respect the rule of law. We have believed in our justice system. We know it has a few bad cracks here and there, but we also understand that we as a society have to make this better. So we have to be the example and just stick to stopping violence in the community. You know, we want to keep on supporting this things like movements like Be Free. Those are good movements that we need more things like that in our country. We need to show people that we can learn how to forgive, and we need to show people that we as leaders of the country are opposing violence. You know, we are opposing people who want to solve problems of violence. If someone is stepped on your shoe or something, you do not necessarily have to take out your gun every time, or you don't even have to take out your gun. You can verbally talk to that person and come to an agreement why you are so angry. You know, we are opposing violence as a family. We do not want violence in our society. We do not believe in violence, and that is where we stand.
I spoke to Nampol's Commissioner Edwin Kangwachivi about the spate of gun violence in the country.
If you are not intending to shoot someone, don't even touch your firearm, don't even pull it out, don't even point it at somebody. Because even by pointing, it's a crime in itself. Pointing a firearm, you could be charged, and it's a serious offense. So the only time when you can use a firearm is when there is imminent danger to the life of a third party or your own life. And that decision is really, you know, it rests within the holder of this firearm. It may land you behind bars, depending on the judgment. So your judgment must be good. There must be justification that had you not used this firearm, your own life could have been compromised or that of a third person, because that threat was so imminent to the life of the third party. Basically, that's when the citizen is probably justified to use a firearm. And if it's deadly, you go through the process, because we don't say that it was in the hate of, if for the court to pronounce you not guilty. We have to take the evidence and all the factors and the witness statements surrounding the shooting or the incident, and somebody in the judiciary will decide whether you be prosecuted or not.
Let's see what's eating Dudley's grape this week. Up next, it's Crime Watch.
Firearms. Everybody likes to go and have a bit of fun and go hunting and shooting. Guns can be fun, yes, but guns can also be detrimental to your life if you do not act wisely or use the right precautions. The other thing is, we had an incident recently where a young man has ended up in ICU. Apparently, he's in a very critical condition and possibly brain dead, which is very tragic due to the fact that some people load their own guns. They load their own weapons, the bullets. So what they do is they make their own bullets. And when they do not go according to the proper specifications or try and get a little bit more power out of their bullets, they put it too much grain. And what happened was this young man took a .308 rifle, he fired a shot, and it exploded in the chamber, and the pin, the firing pin, actually penetrated his brain, and thus he is lying in ICU at the moment in a critical condition. This is just a warning to everybody out there. If you're going to work with firearms, please be careful. We also just recently had an incident where a young man passed away because of an incident where allegedly 2 warning shots were shot and the bullets hit the man in the head. We don't know whether the bullets went into the air or whether he was standing too close, but this young man has lost his life. Firearms are very dangerous things, but they can also be very useful, and you can have a lot of fun with them if used properly. If you're going to load your own bullets and you're going to make your own magazines and stuff, just make sure you follow the right procedures. It's unwise to find yourself in a situation like this young man who has now possibly have to lose his life due to the fact that he made an error, or whoever made the bullets made an error. I've been to a lot of accidents, and very rarely there is a situation where the car actually catches fire due to sometimes electrical faults or a friction on the petrol tank. This is what sometimes causes cars to catch fire. We had an incident now near Unam, where you come down Mandume. It seems like the taxi driver jumped the stop street while a truck was busy turning in the intersection, and he hit him on the fuel tank. Now, it was not the fuel tank that caused the car to catch fire, because if it was, then the truck would have also caught fire. It seems like an electrical short in the front of the car caused this car to catch fire. The problem is, by the time fire and emergency services could get on scene, the car had already burnt to cinders. Gratefully, nobody was injured or trapped in the vehicles, so there was no fatalities or anybody really burnt or injured in this. But our advice to everybody is, keep a small fire extinguisher in your vehicle. This matter could have been resolved within minutes. When the initial fire started, he could have climbed out with his small fire extinguisher, or if somebody else had been driving past, put it out, and this would have avoided the whole vehicle burning to cinders. Be wise and save lives.
Thank you for watching. Please follow It's a Wrap with Erica Gebhardt on Facebook and Insta, and subscribe to the YouTube page to stay woke on the stories that matter to us.